So, welcome to this episode of the Getting Intimate podcast. And today we're exploring what it takes to have ease, joy, and even intimacy with your family during the holidays. Is that possible? Is it required? Do you desire it? So, as our guest, as our guide, I've invited Susanna Mittermaier, who is a psychologist. She's created something called pragmatic psychology, and she is the author of several books, two of them about family. One is called Fairy Tale Family, and the other one is called Curing the Gilded Cage. So, welcome, Susanna.
Thanks for having me.
And I think we just dive right in. So, in a fairy tale family, you talk a lot about the myths, of family that we buy into. So, what I was wondering is the desire for like a harmonious holiday, is that actually like a destructive guest during Christmas?
Oh man, I love that question. And so well put. Is it a destructive guest?
Yes.
So, well, if you guys listening have an expectation and a hopes and dreams about, family, especially during Christmas, being this fairy tale of we're coming together and we're celebrating, our love for each other. Like I'm sure you guys know how that one turns out. Like every time we have some kind of expectation or need or desire for something to be a specific way, like we paint that picture of perfection oftentimes. And Christmas has this fantasy of perfection in different ways. And that is can be oftentimes very destructive, because then you compare what is to what you would like it to be. And then what comes out is a lot of judgments, oftentimes of us. We're like, oh, I didn't make it happen. I should have, been better. I should have done this or that. And if I would have been more what they would like me to be, or if the food would have been better, if I would have cooked better, or if the decorations would have been perfect, then my mom would have been happy and liked it. Yeah, those sorts of things, and the stress of that. So what if we, as you so beautifully put, uninvite that destructive guest of fantasies and expectations and allow what is, which is a huge element of what you talk about intimacy, the allowance of everything that is the way it is without it needing to be any other way. And that creates the freedom and the peace of it doesn't have to be better. It doesn't have to be more perfect. It is what it is. And what if we embrace the beauty of what is, even the insanity, even if stuff comes up, what if we just like embrace the beauty of it without having to change it?
And I know that a lot of how you look at family comes from you exploring your relationship with your
Oh,
own
yeah.
family. And one of the things in the last book called, Curing the Gilded Cage, it's kind of like you're looking at, they're not locking me into the cage. I'm locking me into the cage.
Yeah.
And I think this is so, for me, it's so clear during holidays, especially because I'm the one bringing the ideals, the fantasies, the expectations. So
Mhm.
could you talk a little bit about how we actually how we get out of our own
Mm.
gilded cage with our families?
So what you bring up, thank you, is really the empowering aspect of it all. Because usually when we talk about family or relationships with anyone, it is usually about, because of this person, I can't.
Yeah.
Because of my husband, because of my children, because of my family, because of how they are and speak to me and judge me. That's why, or just because I have them, I can't, whatever it is, have the freedom, live my life. So what people usually don't recognize is that is the disempowering aspect towards you. Like you don't acknowledge, like, okay, wait a second, I can keep that point of view in place, But realizing it's just a point of view, it's not a reality, gives you a different perspective where you go, wait a second, is it really because of this and this person that I can't do this and this or have that freedom? Or is it that something where I'm choosing something that keeps this in place? And then it's like this, what opens up the space of relaxation where you go, oh, that is maybe not so comfortable to look at, but it's totally worth it because it gives me a sense of freedom of, okay, so I am choosing something here in regards to these people that creates me within this cage, in this prison that I haven't even acknowledged. But then when I look at it and go, okay, so how am I creating this? Not
Mm.
freedom. How am I creating this cage? Which in the first moment we might not get, a direct answer to. But it just the question makes you look in a different way of, okay, how am I creating this? And oftentimes we have certain points of view or structures that we keep in place, so we keep the relationship. So we have an excuse to not be us. It doesn't make sense logically, but none of this makes sense logically. But if we go, okay, so how am I keeping this in place? Mm, is this question where you go, okay, what am I choosing here, in relationships to this person? How am I using this person as an excuse to not create my life, to not be me, to not have the freedom? And what if I don't use this person as an excuse anymore and go, okay, so here's this person, these people, family, with all their points of view, with all their judgments. What if I
Mm.
have a balance of they do them? What if I be that space that, for example, the forest is, that animals are, in the presence of all that stuff? And that starts to unravel it. And that's something because you said, been working with family myself a lot, of course, because for me it was like, I don't want to, every time I meet them, have the only choice of just contract to their realities, like contract to match their reality, because I didn't like myself like when I did that. So I'm like, okay, so there must be a different way of doing this, of being
Mm.
with this, where I don't lose me every time I'm around certain people. So then I looked like, I love looking at nature where, I see, okay, like, when we go for a run or walk in the forest and we have a shitty day, the forest and the animals never contract to match our energy. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to do this, but I'm asking to be this. And I practiced and practiced, and it's getting easier and easier. But it's also an in the moment choice, like when you notice yourself going, contracting down to their reality, you're like, no, okay, and you expand out again. And it's like, it's really a muscle that we build over and over and over again in the moment. And it's not about being perfect, but just like the knowing, okay, that's not my only choice, to contract down, but I can actually use me in a way that actually works. And most of us use our tentacles, when you just sense someone has a problem with you, even before they say something, you see them calling, you see your mom calling, and you know exactly, oh, okay, as soon as they're going to say hello, there's something that she wants from me or needs from me, or some kind of judgment or point of view. And before you even say hello, you're like, contract down to match her energy, thinking, okay, that's going to be the best coping strategy. And we all know it never works.
Yeah.
So like that practice of, okay, before you pick up the phone, before you enter the whole family situation, you like expect you remind yourself, okay, so if I be the forest right now, if I be like an animal, like a creature of earth, what would I be? What would I choose? And then, you have a totally different way of, hi, here I am, and I have allowance for me and I have allowance for them, and there's nothing to fix. There's nothing to do. There's just like that space to be.
And and when you're talking, I'm also tapping into this. There's so much structure when we have, you know, all our whatever we think it's supposed to be, or whatever we think we are supposed to be. So maybe the greatest gift to bring for a holiday is to have no expectations, because that would allow then the meeting with the family to go wherever it wants to go, because it sets kind of
Mm.
everyone free in that moment.
Oh, that, yes, that allowing it to go where it goes. That, and it doesn't have to, like, no, I love this tool, like no form, no structure, no significance. It's
Yeah.
one of my favorites. Like no form. It doesn't have to look a certain way. Like it's not like we all have to sit at the table and sing Christmas songs and everybody's happy and content. It's like, that's you doing control.
Mm,
That's you having
mm,
decided how this situation should look like. And we all know how control turns out. It contracts and all that stuff. But what you said, like allow it to have the form and the structure that it has, and it doesn't mean anything. And it doesn't mean anything about you, not being right or not doing enough or not being enough. Yeah.
right. And I guess if we already done this, I mean, if you went to your pragmatic psychological view, what would be one of the greatest tools that you could give somebody before they go home for the holidays?
It's rather than focusing on the people you will meet, because what we do is we oftentimes prepare mentally
Mm,
without noticing. It's like an automatic thing. And we're like, you already like prepare, and then you already go into this role, you already put on the costume of you with family, whatever, people need you to be before you meet them. But that makes you go contract even before you even go there. So rather than preparing mentally, and when you notice yourself going, okay, am I already in the future with them? Am I already sitting at that dinner table? Then make yourself go out of that situation, like pull yourself out of there and just go, okay, I'm not going to focus on these people. I'm going to focus on me. Like, and the greatest preparation is, something that makes you go woohoo, yeah, yay me, whatever that is. Spend time with your pet, or sing or dance, or go into the woods, or dance in the woods, or go naked into the woods, or whatever you want to do, like whatever makes you go, oh my god, yay me. Like that generative, creative, joyful energy, because that's the chaos, you are the chaos on legs, that makes you be you and dominate every situation, every interaction, from who you be without needing to control anything.
I love that. And I'm just going to dive a little bit deeper. So, what I notice with family get together, both from myself, from my brother, from actually different partners that I've had that gone home to their family, it's like they regress and they become kind of like teenagers the moment we walk. So, is that like a form of awareness, or how can we use it, or how can we not be teenagers
I
if we?
love that. We all know that. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. Like you suddenly go, why am I 5 years old right now? Why am I
yeah.
thinking like a 4 year old? And it's this automatic thing. And like how I see it, I mean, there's surely different ways of seeing that, is like it for me, this is kind of like a coping strategy of,
Hmm.
okay, this is how I cope with family. Because oftentimes that's exactly what family, whoever they are, require of you. Like, how much is that where you are aware of their needs, where we are aware of their needs of us, and then we just deliver. Like, here is the 5 year old that you know how to relate to, that you know that if I be this 5 year old or teenager, whatever,
Hmm.
then you are in control. Then you feel comfortable with me. Then you're happy with me. Then your needs are met. So it's basically like, this is when we are trying to make them feel comfortable and have this fake, how do you say, harmony?
And
That's,
personality or
yeah,
persona, image, or
all
yeah.
of it. Yeah, but it's never
Right.
about us, never for us. It's always about. It's not even for them. It's for their needs, whatever they have invented as their needs.
And it brings us to probably my last question for today. This is like a quick how to survive the holidays. Oh, no, actually, how to thrive. How to thrive in the holidays with your family. But my last one is it taps into what you just said. So a lot of people have this, they've been brought up to think that if they love their family, that means joining them or sharing their problems. So how can someone choose to be, like you're talking about, like crazy happy without their family have this sense of being abandoned. How
Mm.
abandoned is probably the correct English word. How does that work? Like what would you suggest for that?
So that is a huge conversation, and that for me is this whole new universe that I also see is opening up actually more right now than ever, the universe of true caring, which is not an either or. It's not about me being great at the cost of other people or them being great and me less. It's really this, okay, what if I have this very healthy egotistic way of functioning, and it's not egotistic in a way of, it's destructive and, either you or them. It's just this healthy way of including you and going, okay, so first of all, what if it's about me being happy? Like, what if the most valuable thing that I like, first choice is like whatever makes me happy, whatever makes me be more of me. And then, okay, acknowledging this is the gift. This
Mm,
is this is like the invitation for everyone to be more of them. And then whatever that brings up in people, whatever their judgments are about you being you, or their expectations or projections, that just being an interesting point of view. That's like, okay, you can have that, but it's not my job to fix that. It's not my job to agree to it or
mm,
align or fight it or resist. It's just like, it's okay. And whatever you have come up, I love you anyway. Like, I will not separate from you. I will
mm,
not go away just because you are not happy with me right now. I still care for you. I care for you no matter what your point of view is about me, but I will not turn myself down. And that's that universe that I see is opening up
mm.
now more than ever, that we all can tap into and choose, where it's like absolute, like infinite caring, true caring, and this space of us, us, and not having the insanity being the ruling, dominating factor. That can be there too, but we can like ignore it like a barking dog in the distance somewhere. We can hear it, but whatever. But the most like important thing is, okay, I see you as who you truly are, and the rest I will give myself the freedom to ignore and be me in the presence of that.
And also, I get to choose if I care.
Yeah.
You don't get to decide if I care or not. Because if I care about you, I can do that whatever you think about me in this moment. I
Yeah.
just have to ask you one final question before.
Mm.
So, if somebody has this experience of really dark and miserable holidays historically, like that's what they know. What is the one question, or what is one question that they could ask themselves in the morning of the
Yeah.
event to kind of change the energy?
I would say remind yourself that you have choice. It's like if you go to the event that historically was horrible, I love that expression, um, with the point of view, I have to be there. Well, you will fight it, you will, go, oh my God, it used to be horrible. And then, you fight the past even, and you fight the now. But what if you remind yourself, okay, I have choice. I don't have to go there. I can find a million excuses to not go there. I can be sick. I can, whatever, my dog, or, anything. Like, know that you don't have to, but then go into, okay, so what am I going to choose? What if I choose to be there or not be there, but it gets to be my choice? And then when you choose yes, when you go, okay, if I go there, if I don't go there, what future will this create? Tap into that. If I go there, what future will that create? Because
Mhm,
there's moments where we go somewhere and it's not really something we want to do, but it still creates something greater for the future. It creates whatever, something that makes your life easier,
mm,
your life easier, your life. And when you get a yes, then you go from that space of, I am choosing this, like I'm
mm.
the boss of this choice. And that creates a totally different space. And then when things are horrible, you're like, okay, well, I can just receive that too. What gift is there? And what else?
And you have the choice to leave. You
Yes, any
have the
moment.
yeah. Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. And thank you so much for coming on. And I hope you have the most crazy happy Christmas
You
holiday
too.
so far.